I want to start with you, Chip. Cornyn is the #2 in the Senate. He's among many other senators who have backed McConnell. Yet McConnell really highly praised at what he does. He failed to get the votes to repeal Obamacare. Why couldn't he put pressure on McCain, who voted no? And how did he not know he wasn't going to get the votes?
Well, Lauren, I think the president is channeling the frustration and the anger of the American people, the people that sent him into office. For 7 years, Republicans have been campaigning to fully repeal Obamacare, and yet throughout the entirety of this new administration and this new Congress, there's literally been not one single vote on full repeal of Obamacare. What we've had is a series of votes for partial repeals. And what we saw was the culmination 2 weeks ago of the frustration that the American people see by a failure to even get a bill that by most accounts repealed somewhere in the order of 2% of Obamacare. And that's unacceptable for the American people who are currently facing doubled premiums, and 40% of American counties don't have access to more than one or even zero insurance providers.
Yeah, and the president, just addressing reporters, kept the pressure on. He said, we're dealing with health care, Luis. We're going to get something done. What is that something going to look like? Do you think he's going to end up working with Democrats to get legislation passed or to improve or repeal Obamacare?
I'm not sure that it'll even get that far. I mean, you have Mitch McConnell still winning here because you have senators rallying around, Republican senators rallying around Mitch McConnell, but you also have Donald Trump, who just endorsed in the Alabama special election the establishment candidate. And when you get into the fights in September over the debt ceiling and the budget, you're going to see that Republicans on the Senate are going to be a much tougher fight than he seems to understand. And he already proved that he doesn't understand how Washington works. He was just out there saying that he's actually going to save money on payroll because, and that's why he praised Putin for kicking out American diplomats. It's actually going to cost Americans more to have to move these 700 people back and forth, their families. It's actually, they're not coming off the payroll. So he just doesn't get how things work. But politically, he might be positioning himself to push Republicans to do more that he wants on those budget fights later.
That's part of the whole allure of Donald Trump, and one of the reasons he was elected, because he's different than Washington as we know it. Chip, you were the former chief of staff to Senator Ted Cruz, popular senator who has not weighed in on Mitch McConnell in this instance. But the two of them, McConnell and Cruz, have had a very, very tangled past relationship. How do you think Ted Cruz feels here?
Well, I wouldn't want to speak for Senator Cruz. I know that he works with Senator McConnell. He obviously works with Senator Cornyn, his home state senator. And the real issue here is Senator McConnell has the opportunity to actually put forward a bill that would repeal Obamacare, and they're not doing it. And at the end of the day, you know, we're going to be facing a debt ceiling increase in September. And the American people are looking at $20 trillion of debt and $100 trillion of unfunded liabilities, and they're wondering when someone is going to lead. And what the president is doing is stepping up and trying to step into the void by declaring that we need to actually get this done. And that starts with a repeal bill that actually repeals Obamacare. So that's what we're looking at, and I think that that's what Senator Cruz would support.
But it adds a lot of chaos and it adds a lot of uncertainty. I mean, the reality is that you have a president who is challenging his own party in a way where he seems to be just trying to shore up his base after a week in which polls showed that he's losing support even among those who support him the most. And so, you know, this is a week in which he attacked President Obama, blamed him for North Korea, attacked Hillary Clinton, of course, promised war, praised Vladimir Putin, par for the course for the golfer-in-chief, but it's not going to help him bring Republicans together and rally them around.
It was a working vacation. Okay, we got to go, guys. We got to go.